Good morning, Seller Session. This is your host, Isabella Hamilton, Rank Bell CEO, and I have with me a really good friend today, my lovely, lovely Melissa Simonson. Hello and good
Hello.
morning.
Hi, Isabella.
It's always so good to see you, Melissa.
You too. It's
Even
always
though it's Monday morning. Say that again.
I said it's always such a pleasure every time we get to hang out, even if it's digital.
No, this is perfect. Right before we started, I got to ask you when you're coming to this coast, and you are coming this weekend, right?
On Friday, yeah, I can't believe. Oh my gosh, like I feel like someone turns like the feed up. Like we're on fast forward right now, and it feels like it should be about a month ago. Where I'm like, okay, we've got about a month to go before the event, and now I'm like, I'm flying on Friday. What is
That's here.
happening?
I know.
Yeah.
I think everybody's so excited to like get together. This is coming up Prosper next week for those who don't know, but I'm sure everybody knows now. We are all so excited to see our old friends and get to
Yay!
see what else is new in Amazon. And it's always such a pleasure to see you, Melissa.
You
You're so
too.
sweet. Thank you,
I'm
thank
so
you, thank
excited.
you.
It's going to be nice to actually see people in person. It's just an energy at the live events and just like being around people that you just don't get with anything else.
That is true. I mean, we already had our own small gathering in Miami, and that turned out very beautiful. Thanks to all of our sponsors and
Yes.
Melissa's video skills and everything else in between.
I
It
don't
was
have any
really
video
good.
skills. I hired that out because, I leave it to the professionals, right?
Listen, if that's the best thing about hiring somebody. If you can like put your trust in somebody, you don't have to do it. So I think you were skilled enough to have found the right person. So that to me counts as a skill.
Yeah, thank you for that. We're actually going to see Victor again in Las Vegas. So that's gonna be
Perfect.
really fun.
That's amazing. What have you been up to, Melissa? Tell everybody who doesn't know you, but I doubt there are people out there who don't know you. But if they don't, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, let's see. I've got a dog who's very needy.
So
um,
cute.
So personally, I come from a family with 9 kids, and I am the youngest. And a lot of the people who are watching may know my older brother, Steve. He is actually the oldest of 9, and I'm the youngest of 9. And we work together for Empowering. So he has a ton of other businesses, and I have a couple of my own pursuits on the side, but we come together to do Empowering stuff, which is a nonprofit member-owned cooperative to help e-commerce entrepreneurs. And this is, sort of his way of getting back after a lifetime of success and struggling to make it work, not only in e-commerce, but as an entrepreneur in general, but especially in e-commerce where it's very easy to feel isolated, alone. And even if you're surrounded by people, if they don't understand that struggle, then you still feel alone sometimes. So he really got to a place where he wanted to give back and help people find community. And so he co-founded Empowering, and I run that on the day-to-day basis.
When was Empowering co-founded?
So we officially launched February 2018. And so he actually contacted me in like December of 2017. We kind of decided, okay, we're going to do this thing. And so I started reaching out and creating partnerships and building a network. And then we launched in February 2018. Looks very different today than it did.
It seems like it's been so long. It just seems like Empowering has always been to me. It's always been there. So it's interesting to see that it's hasn't been there forever. But
yeah, it's maybe 3.5 years now. So
that's wonderful. I mean, working with somebody of, Steve's caliber must be absolutely amazing. I mean, I know he is your brother, and I just remember first time seeing him on stage, and you were there. I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? Like, he's so smart and yet so humble at the same time, which is, rare qualities to find together usually in a person, because, a lot of people tend to not stay humble when they get so super successful. And for him to give back to the community, I think it's very very beautiful.
Yeah, I totally agree. And probably my favorite thing about, running Empowery is that I get to be part of this. And it's a legacy thing. This is what you get to do after you have built a lifetime of success and now get to look back and share that with others. And I get to be part of that. And I am not the person who spent the last 30 years in e-commerce, 30 plus years. I was just looking at some of his awards and stuff like that he received. And I was looking at some articles because I made a video for him for his birthday that was in June. And I was looking at like some of the stuff that he was being recognized for, like $1 million sale day and like stuff like this when he was 30 or like 34, like crazy stuff. I remember working at his office and he had, I think, about 30, 35 employees and a basement full of programmers taking his physical store, putting it online. And I was doing HTML to like change listings and add installation agreements and all that kind of stuff to the site for his online flooring store. And it was just like thinking about that now that I am the age that he was then, it's incredible to me. You know what I mean? He's done so much.
Wow, that's incredible. So that was kind of like your beginning of this e-com world, right?
Yeah, that was definitely my first taste of it. And I didn't even know what it was or what it could be. And I think nobody did, really. That was way back when Amazon was still selling books, and they're reaching out to people like, hey, we could sell your stuff too. What kind of stuff do you sell? We should sell that on our platform. And that's the world that Amazon was living in at that time. So, I was like 15 or so at that time. So it's a totally different world of e-commerce now, and it's constantly changing.
Wow. And Melissa, you said, from a very big family with, Steve being the oldest and you being the youngest. And it seems like you two are so closely connected. Is this how all your family is? Are you all
Yeah,
very
I mean, we're pretty close. We like to do holidays and stuff together if we can. We had last November, we went to Mexico. I think, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 of the siblings out of the 9, 5 of the siblings out of the 9 were able to go to Mexico together, and some of our kids and stuff joined us, and some of our significant others. So it's we try to do things when we can. It's hard because I think there's like 25 grandkids between all of us kids, and so that's a hard thing to coordinate. And I'll tell you what, that is a madhouse if we all end up together.
I mean, if there's one person that could coordinate all of it, we'll probably be you. So I'm just saying. You are very good with people, Melissa. You are incredible. I have seen you work groups of many different sizes, and I'm sure that will be no problem. But that is beautiful to have. I mean, you know about me a little bit. You know my past, and in Romania, having a big family, it's something that it's very usual. Not so much my generation, the ones that moved to the city, let's call it, because my parents, they come from a village, and their parents and so forth. So it kind of split at my generation. So when my generation was born, our parents, they wanted us to move to a city. I mean, very, very close proximity to the villages. But this was like the city generation. And I noticed a switch from like everybody having like 9, 10, 15 kids to, having 3, which was still, if you could think about it, I mean, 3 was like, oh, you only have 3 kids. I have a sister and a brother. I feel like now it's getting even less. Hopefully the Romanian population is not going to like be done, but you never know. I mean, it's just interesting to look how people change from every period of their life, and how my parents are like, oh, you know what, we're not gonna have 10 kids, we're gonna have like 3. And it was a lot, because back then they didn't have like what we have now, like washing machines and dishwasher, and
oh my goodness,
even diapers. I mean, my mom told me like my grandma and even herself, like they used to use, I don't know how we got to kids talk, but they used to use these diapers, but they were like cloth, something that
Yeah.
now it's kind of cool, but then you had no option. So they cut these pieces of material that they kept reusing over and over again. So, props to your family for being so amazing and so big and yet still all loving each other. That's wonderful to see.
Most of the time.
Well, you can afford to be playful with your siblings, so I'm sure they're all as lovely as you. So
I'm
that's
probably the best, though. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm probably.
obviously. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about that. So will Steve also be at Prosper?
Yes, he will. So you'll see him at a ton of parties. The Helium 10 party, the I can't even remember all the parties that we're going to be at, but we'll definitely be at the Sky in the Sky, MGM Skylofts. And then I'm not sure his departure date and for how much of the women's conference he'll be participating in, but you guys will see him, around the Empowering table.
Yes, tell us about Empowering, please. I'm so excited about that. Empowering Women conference is coming up, guys, for those who don't know. And this is part of the reason Melissa's here today, because we are all so excited to participate in this grandiose event. So tell us a little bit about it.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I'm really excited that we're going to be at Prosper. We're going to be having a table, sort of in that in-between area. Hello, Cindy. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely to see you. So that's very exciting. And then as Prosper is sort of wrapping up, Rich Goldstein is hosting an event at MGM Skylofts, and he's allowing the Empowering Women Conference VIPs and sponsors and speakers to all attend this party for free, and he's, everything is covered, so that's really amazing. So that is the Swear in the Sky at MGM Skylofts on the 15th. And then on the 16th, we have a day just totally packed full of, like, the morning is presentations, and we have, oh my gosh, such great presentations this year. I'm so excited. Like, we have Marsha Reese, who invented sidewalk chalk.
Oh my goodness,
that didn't exist before her, and she has like the little pieces. They look like little pieces of dog poo, really, just colorful, and they were just like misshapen and ugly, but they were flying off the shelves at Walmart back when Walmart was not a big deal, and they were competing with Kmart. This is just, I mean, it's such a big deal, and she is just this fiery, audacious woman that just did stuff at a time when women could not compete in the workplace and didn't, like, nobody wanted them there. And so she just did her own thing, and then still owning her own business and trying to place her stuff in big box stores. People were still telling her, hey, we'll do your stuff and we'll give you a salary, but we'll just keep all these profits. And she's like, that's okay. No deal.
That's amazing.
Doing her own thing and made it work, and now she continues to be an Amazon seller, even though, selling her original business and stuff. But she is just amazing, and I cannot wait for all of the other ladies to just be around her and get this energy of just doing it anyway. I love it.
You always have the most amazing speakers. I mean, I remember the last time you put on this beautiful event, like every single speaker there was just like jaw-dropping, full of knowledge, and all these women from like different backgrounds and different paths in life all getting together and just speaking from the heart. And you could literally feel the energy of every speaker speaking. One was more quirky, one was energetic, but in the end, everybody had this just like super powerful energy about them, and just the willingness to share their experiences. And I'm so glad you were able to find somebody so inspiring also this time. I think that's wonderful. So what can people expect from from this beautiful event? First of all, what dates is it? Who you think is attending? How long is the event? Just so our listeners have a little background on this.
Yeah, so we're changing things up a little bit this year. Even from when we first started planning it, we started realizing, like, a lot of people are going to be in Las Vegas for quite a while. And we had a lot of people, some of our sponsors, some of our speakers who are, hey, we got to fly out on Saturday. So what we decided in the end was, instead of doing the 2-day event, the Friday, Saturday, like we originally planned, we're actually doing Friday only, and we're packing it absolutely full of awesomeness. But what we're trying to do is still keep that same energy that we had last time which is, sharing the how, like, how did you get here? How did you get to where you are so that I can see myself being you? And I want to still talk about, their journey, as well as have, key takeaways and stuff that that the audience can walk away feeling like they can apply something to their business. And then we also have workshops in the afternoon. So these are, from PPC to finding your why to copywriting, right? There's just basically, and like preparing for an exit. There's a ton of things that are just on your radar of like, I should do this, I should work on this, but you don't always have a chance to give yourself time to sit down and just do. And so we're giving you guys a chance to sit down and do some of these workshops so that you can actually have stuff written down on paper that applies to your business, working with people who usually charge a really hefty sum for that time. So this, I can't stress enough how much cheaper it is to do it with the ticket to this event than it is to consult with some of these awesome people with their time.
Right. And you with this, you get that almost like one-on-one time, because most of the questions are something that's kind of pressing to everyone, whether, like you mentioned, it's PPC or copywriting or any of the other skills, and having somebody so close to you that is able to give you that specific, information that could like change your whole your whole course in business. So I really love that. So what time does it start? What time does it end? And what time are the workshops approximately?
Yeah, so we're actually updating the website to show the full agenda. I always try to wait until like a couple weeks ahead to do that because it changes so much. And I'll tell you, it's changed 6 times in the last like so we're gonna have at about 8 o'clock, we're going to start in the morning. We're going to have a couple of the presenters. We're going to have a nice little coffee break networking for 30 minutes or so. And then we're going to get back into it with some of the presenters. And then we're going to do, the lunch, which is totally covered for anyone with a general admission ticket or a VIP ticket. And then we're going to carry on from the lunch with our second keynote presenter, Lillian Roberts, who is spectacular. You met her when we were in Miami.
Absolutely. She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. Yes.
So she's going to kick us off. And again, this might change slightly. We might switch the keynotes or we might, something like that. But we'll have the workshops start about then. So it'll be around, 1:30 or so. And then we'll have the workshops. And that'll take us until about 6 p.m. The host and I are going to wrap up and call it a day. And then anyone who has a VIP ticket will join us in the lobby at like 6:45. We'll head over to the VIP dinner, and then we're gonna close the day at about 9:30.
I love that. I love that you structure it all in one day because, being there, like you said, a whole week in Vegas and everybody's, just giving so much information. It can be a little tiring, but I feel like, having that one day that is packed of content, then people can really be mentally prepared to just take notes, and then knowing that in the evening they can just relax. And again, it's just going to be so amazing seeing everybody. You mentioned Lil, and thank you, Tim Jordan, for introducing us to this beauty and brilliant brains. I don't know how else do we explain this this wonderful energy of a human, right?
For sure.
She's just so incredibly smart, and I'm so honored that to have met her and that you guys made it happen. I mean, you and Tim really came together to bring us more beautiful souls. Right?
It's amazing. And everyone that talks to her is just like, wow. Like I could list off all of her credentials, but like really just meeting her is impactful. Like this is what we want to do. We want to create events where people have the opportunity to have an impact on others or be impacted by someone else's energy or their conversation or some tip that they have, right? Sometimes you get that one thing, and that's happened to me several times where someone says something like there's a tool or something that they're like, did you know that if you use this tool, you can get all of your message from all social media to one place? That blows your mind. You're like, this is going to change my life.
That's right. And it can be as small as that. That will literally change your whole life.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So
It's
what made you kind of start this like event managing, let's say, because it's beyond that. It's like getting people together with such a high purpose. Like what, because not everybody can can deal with a lot of people, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being surrounded by so many people at all times?
Yeah, I'm not always a huge fan of it. I'm not an extrovert. I am an introvert, and it's difficult to be surrounded by a lot of people for long periods of time. And I can definitely do it, and I do love the energy. I love being around people, and I love that satisfaction that comes from putting something together where a bunch of people gather and they're networking. That, like, it just feels like such a win to watch all of that happen. And I feel like I like to get all of that set up, and then I like to go find a very quiet place and just sit quietly for a few minutes by myself, like, good job.
That's amazing. Like that's your moment to recharge. But I mean, it's interesting because you mentioned you're an introvert, but really the way I see you and the way I'm sure many people see you is like they see you as the super extrovert. Do you think it's because you just really love what you're doing that it's almost like it's, I don't know how to put this. It's like you're doing it without that feeling of like, okay, I need to hide. You're just being you, basically.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, like in the moment, like I'm enjoying every second of it. And I think the difference really is it's not that you like while you're with people that you don't want to be with people or something. Being an introvert, it's more like, okay, I just had a lot of human contact. I'm going to need a break from humans for a while. And so it really is like an extrovert walks into that room and just like, oh, right, I got my energy back. And they feed off of that energy, and that keeps them going as long as that human contact is going. Where an introvert is totally opposite. They give their energy during that interaction and then need to get it back.
That's that's very a good way to put it. I don't know. I've always considered myself being an extrovert, but now the way you put it, I'm like, am I giving my energy or am I taking? But for me, it's probably just a mix of like giving and getting and giving and getting. And me, I love to be in crowds of people. For me, events is literally where home feels for me. So for me, looking forward to like a whole week in Vegas, I'm like, easy. Like, I cannot wait. And again, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was just going to say, and it changes too. Like when I first started doing these events and stuff like that, and I knew nobody, and I was just like, okay, I'm doing this anyway, even though this is terrifying. Then that, of course, took a lot more energy. But the more people you know, the more friends you're reconnecting with, instead of just like, okay, I'm going to go stand in a crowd and be terrified for like 2 hours. It's a totally different thing. So it starts drawing on less of your energy to do that kind of thing. So I think that matters. I think that has an impact on whether you can decide if you're giving or getting, right?
Right. Do you feel like it has gotten easier now because you know the people, or do you feel like it's a little bit more pressure now that you know them?
Yeah, I mean, I always had a level of anxiety before I travel and do like public stuff. But I definitely look forward to it more now than I used to. I used to just be like total terror until I was in the moment. I was like, okay, this is good.
This is not bad.
But now, like, I'm actually like, I can't wait to see my friends. I can't wait to reconnect with everybody and just be like, and not be, not have the world going mad and not, I just want us to hang out and just be.
Right. What are some tips that you could give somebody that, for example, has never spoken on stage? Because I mean, you did Empowering Women conference. When was it? 2 years ago coming up?
No, it was last year. Yeah. So we did.
Why do I always say this? Every time I see you, I'm like, it's been 2 years, Melissa. You're like, no, it's been
2020 feels like it was 10 years long.
It has. So the first time you did it was, how do you feel like it's going to be different? And for somebody that's never spoken on stage, I mean, I think the speakers that you have this year, they all somewhat have been on a stage, but for those that haven't, like, what are some tips that you would give them from your own experience?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, one of the more important things, I think I actually was telling you before you spoke for the first time last year, was when you're up on the stage and you're watching a bunch of people, it just looks like a sea of disinterested faces looking back at you like, entertain me. And that is so scary. And so what you have to do is just flip the script in your mind and just imagine that everyone is hanging on to every word you're saying with rapt attention and is so interested, because it changes the way that you speak. If you think everyone is disinterested, you rush your words or you try and get to something important. I remember when I was speaking at White Label Expo, I started out, I was pretty nervous, and I was doing that thing where I was like, I don't know if anyone cares about what I'm saying. And look, you guys don't seem to even be listening. You're all looking at your phones. And so I kind of got in my head for a second, and that's a huge mistake. Yeah. But if you can pull yourself out of that in the moment, I just kind of laughed to myself, and I was like, what do I have to lose now? Exactly. And then I felt the words that I was saying. And I knew that there was at least a few people in that audience that needed to hear what I was saying, and that they cared about every word I was saying. And so I knew if I just spoke to them, then I could speak with passion and I could speak in the way that makes it interesting. And then even the people who seem to be disinterested care. They pay more attention. And the thing is, you just don't know what's going on in somebody's head. And if you actually pay attention to what you're doing when you're listening to somebody, when you're speaking at, when they're speaking at Prosper, or when whatever, you're coming in and out while they're talking, right? Sometimes you're entering or leaving the room while they're talking, which you don't think about as someone attending, but as a speaker, you're like, oh my gosh, it's because of me. They don't like me. My hair is messed up today. That's why they left. And it's a whole thing. But if you just think about what you're doing while you're being an attendee, looking at your phone, you're sending text messages, and what you're thinking though is like, oh my gosh, what they just said is exactly right. I'm going to text my friends. And so you have no idea. So assume when you're on stage that you are winning, because that makes you win. It makes you speak with passion. It makes you put emphasis on the right words and get people's interest and make your eyes big and draw people in. That's what you need. You have to believe that you are winning.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned, like people in the audience being on their phone. And I think we have all been guilty of that. But it kind of gives you that perspective of like how it is to be on the other side. And I'm sure that makes us a little bit more aware and a little bit kinder to those who present on stage, because automatically in our minds we're like, oh my God, that person is just so natural on stage. Like they're born to be speakers. And what most people don't realize is that nobody is really born to speak on stage, because speaking on stage is literally one of the most frightening things. And I think we talked about it last year. Speaking on stage is like most people would prefer that before speaking on stage.
I'd rather die than speak in front of, do public speaking. That's definitely stuff people say on a regular basis.
And that's crazy. And it's because, we always tend to kind of judge ourselves too hard. Most people are like, oh my God, I'm going to go on stage. And just like you said, like, oh, what does my hair look like? Am I going to like suck? Am I going to say something stupid? And, it's just, as long as you do your best and be present and speak for that one person that's actually listening, because you never know who you're going to touch with what your message and what you have to share. So even if 99 of the people in the room are leaving and there's that one person staying, you should definitely do your best to offer that message to that person, rather than, just like you said, being worried about who's walking out of the room, who's checking their phone. And it can be distracting for a speaker. I can see that.
Yeah, and it really is. It's like, I don't know if you've read The Success Principles, or if you've seen what is it called, the Secret, or anything like that. It really is one of those things where you think something into reality. If you think, I'm failing, I suck, I'm up here on the stage and nobody cares, you speak in a way that makes that become your reality, and then you're boring or you're rushing or you're just not interesting, and people do get up and walk out, and that confirms it, and then you get even worse, and then you're stumbling over your words, and it becomes a whole thing. But the same thing, if you just assume right from the start that you have everybody's attention, and then you speak in that way, you bring that into reality. And this isn't like a bunch of hokey, stuff. You know me, I'm not one for tarot cards and stuff. But this is one of those things that the thing that you believe.
Yes,
we should tell people those stories.
No, listen, no, it's okay. I'm all for all of that. So go ahead.
I know, and I don't judge it at all. I'm just saying, like, if anyone who is listening feels like I'm getting too ethereal, what I'm really saying is the way that you talk to yourself manifests in your actions. And that applies when you're up on the stage. So, everyone has this, sort of inner monologue going on all the time, even while you're talking and saying other words, and you're judging whether or not the things they're saying are being heard right, and you're judging people's body language and the lift of their eyebrow at the particular second that you said this thing. All of that is happening simultaneous to the actual things that are happening live.
Yeah.
And it's easy for that to be negative. It's almost natural for it to be negative. And so you have to fight against that all the time, especially when you're on the stage, to make sure that you're not bringing the negativity into reality.
Yeah, I love that you said that. It's like, it's natural. That's our natural state. I mean, whether it's passed down through our DNAs or society or whatever it is, but we always tend to think the worst of any situation. And like I said, it's probably, from old times, like where we had to like survive from like rocks not falling on our head or an animal eating us. So we always tend to think the worst, but our genetics haven't caught up to the fact that we are safe now. We have, buildings and houses and more than we would ever need at this point. Yet we're still fearful. So that can manifest, just like you said, into different areas in our life, whether it's speaking on stage or doing a presentation at your job or speaking to your boss or whatever it may be. Most people come from that place of fear, and we do it all the time. It doesn't matter how much you practice and how spiritual you get and how knowledgeable you get, you still have that inside of you where it's like, okay, I am not sure I know what I'm doing, which is where the imposter syndrome comes in too. And I read one thing about imposter syndrome, like you either have it or you're like a psycho person. It was literally like that. Like if you don't have it, then something is wrong with you. So most people, normal people, feel this, oh my God, I'm not good enough. Why is everybody here listening to me on stage? But like you said, if you just switch the script and you think, okay, I am here to provide something for someone, you make it less about yourself. I remember the first time I spoke on stage ever, it was at Empowers Women Conference. And I remember I got on stage and I was like, oh my God, like I try, of course you get into your head, what am I doing on stage? What am I even going to talk about? And then, you start to realize like, okay, well, this is not about me at all. Yes, I am sharing my experience, which is where people get caught up. Like, but I am talking about this. So how is this not have to do anything with me? But you are sharing your experience to convey a message to those listening, because your experience, it doesn't have to be the exact same experience that somebody else is going through, but something about that will create that thought of like, okay, I can see how I can take my situation and turn it into a positive. So once you realize that it's not about yourself, it's almost like taking pressure off yourself, and you're able to just speak from the heart. And when you speak from the heart, people feel, which is why we get that feeling, when you meet someone, like when I met you, I was like, oh my God, who's this girl? I love her, right?
Yeah, I know. Immediately we were like stuck together.
And it was because I think we both, we were like vulnerable with each other, and we were very like, we were ourselves. So immediately it's like, I like this girl. I don't know why, but I just like her. So it's the same feeling when you meet somebody that's very guarded and it's like, I don't want to, give anything away. I'm holding everything I know and everything I have in me. It's that energy where you're like, there's that person, I don't really like them, but I don't really know why. Like they seem nice, like they check all the boxes, but for some reason they just don't, match with my vibe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I think part of it, so for the on stage portion of it, I think that, if you can get to the place where you are recognizing, like you said, it's not about you, but that even if someone has a different experience to yours, you're providing motivation and inspiration that somebody else can build on, that they can apply to their situation. And sometimes it's that feeling, and it's exactly what you said. Sometimes you meet someone and you get that vibe from them, and it is a totally different thing. This is why I'm so excited for these events. I really am. Like, it's been a really long time since we all got together. We got to see each other and a few other people in Miami, and like Paul and some of the other, Carlos, and that was really great. But now it's like everybody's gonna be in Las Vegas. Oh my
Yes, we're going to see Norman, and we're going to see Tim Jordan, and oh my God, so many wonderful, wonderful humans. Kevin King. I mean, we could just name like everybody, but it would be a long, long, long list. You're right. It's like not seeing your family for so long. This is what it feels like to me.
It is. Yeah, it's very much like that. So I'm going to put a couple, I don't know if I can put this like publicly, but I'm going to give you a couple links so people have it. So just to like go over like sort of the agenda, it's the Soiree in the Sky is at MGM Skylofts on Thursday the 15th from 8 to 10 p.m. And I'm going to be there to welcome everybody, but I know other people are coming from other parties. I'm going to spend a portion at like the Feast by the Fountains or whichever one is that night, honestly, I can't remember. So I'll be heading over from that. And then next day is the actual women's conference. So the link for that is bit.ly/empoweringwomen. That is for those tickets. And there's going to be really amazing people there. Paul Barron is going to be there. Robbie Stanley is going to be representing Gatita. Obviously, Isabella is going to be there. She's going to be speaking to us on mindset. We're going to have those awesome keynote speakers I talked about, a ton of workshops, Ritu Java, Emma Shimmer-Tamir, like all the names. And we're going to have joining us as guests, Norm Farrar, Tim Jordan, just some of the really amazing people, Sajag Agarwal from Mavli. I mean, I could go on and on, but we're going to have a ton of people there during the day for that networking and learning and workshops, and then joining us at the VIP dinners that night. And so then the event officially ends around 9:30 p.m. that night. And then the next day, we put together something really fun. It's not official. And it's just, we're like, there's still going to be some people hanging out on Saturday, but a lot of people are leaving. So who's still there, and do they want to hang out? And so for anybody who does want to hang out on an unhosted basis, just we're all kicking it. If you want to join us, you can come and network and just visit. We're doing mimosas with mentors at the Border Grill at Mandalay Bay. It's hosted by like 2 Top Chef Masters stars. And it's like an incredible, and it has like bottomless mimosas from like 10 a.m. to noon. So we're doing mimosas with mentors, and it's just very informal. We're ending the event, relaxing, chill vibe.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I mean, who doesn't like bottomless mimosas in Vegas? It's like all the good ideas and bad ideas together. They all happen in Vegas. So I look forward to that. But I think I love that. I think it's a perfect way to end a very eventful week and get to say goodbye to our friends that have to return. I'm still hoping Danny McMillan is going to make his entrance. We'll know very soon. And I mean, we just have so many dear friends that we have not seen in a while, and just like be able to hug them and spend some time with them, and then say goodbye to everyone on Saturday. But this is going to be probably the best event yet, because everybody just, one, we all miss each other so much. Everybody's like craving that, human connection. But, this is just to say that this will be first of many more events to come. Is Impari planning anything else for the rest of the year, or is there anything else they want to share about that coming up?
We don't have anything official yet. So I don't want to share.
Give us hope.
Yeah, it's possible that we'll do a Seattle summit, but it's just tricky with the timing with fourth quarter coming up like so fast. So we'll see what happens with the Seattle summit. I do anticipate doing Festivus. I am planning to do Festivus again in December. So everyone really loved that, and who doesn't want the shipped gifts? I think that is still such a fun thing to do. So I am planning to still.
Are you doing that in New York? Is that in New York?
No, actually, Festivus, I was planning to do it in Miami again. I'm not sure of that, but last time we broadcasted from Carlos's facility, and it worked out brilliantly. So
I think I will be there joining you this year.
We'll make it live this time, so we can dance to holiday music.
I love that you always get involved with the most amazing people and the most amazing events, and everybody's going to be so happy to see you. And I think what most people don't realize is we've been doing these Zoom calls this past year, and so many people got to meet us over this, over internet. So it's going to be really, really good to get to meet people in real life. And as I said, just give them a hug. So for those who are listening to us, who know me or Melissa or Danny and Sharon and everybody else, just come and talk to us. Don't be shy. We'll give you time, and we'll just be so happy to connect to everyone. So Melissa, for those who don't know how to find you, what are some ways that people can get in touch with you, whether it's for the Empower conference or just for personal? How can people reach you?
Well, anyone can reach out to empowery.com/contact. You can do that to learn more about, Empowery memberships in our community. You can do that to, get the team to contact me directly. We also have, I'm going to put the number here. I don't know. I don't think this shows it to everyone. So you might have to put this in the official show you place. I don't know what it's called. We have a phone number. It's 855-EMPOWER-YOU. And that's our phone number. So you can call that line, and someone will direct you to wherever it is you need to go. If it's about, stuff the finance team needs, or if you need to reach me, they will try and get in touch with me. It might be tricky until after this event is over.
Right, but we will be able to see a lot of you hopefully in Vegas. Hopefully a lot of you are coming to the Empowering Women Conference. And by the way, it's not just for women. It is open to everyone. It's just focused more on women speakers, and we're shining the light on this bright and intelligent females that we have in our community. And Melissa is so gracious and amazing in finding new talent. I mean, new talent that has been around for years, but new to the Empowering Conference. And she's always bringing on just absolutely amazing women who can not only share their life experience, but really tactical and meaningful ways of solving your problems, whether it's an e-commerce business or your own copywriting business. I think the skills that we learn can really be applied to everything in our life. So I want to personally thank you, Melissa, for doing that. One, for us, the speakers, for giving us the opportunity to share our experiences. And for those who will be in attendance, I think this is very kind and heartful of you to do that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I feel like it's important. And I think that one of the things that, that makes it so important is that the women in the audience really need to be able to feel like they connect with the person on stage, and that they can put themselves in their shoes. And part of what I found is some of the women who don't have as much experience speaking on stage, but have an awesome message to share, they are easy to identify with. It's easy to put yourself in their place and to put yourself in their shoes. And I think one of the other things that's really important about that is that some of these people who we don't necessarily see on every speaking agenda at every e-commerce conference, it gives them that speaking resume so that they can start kind of getting on the circuit and getting more recognized, so that we get more women on a more regular basis. There's just a bigger list for the event host to draw from. And the more recognized they are, and the more of a draw they are, the more they'll get booked as a speaker for events. Because as an event host, that's what you're looking for. You want the names of the speakers to help draw the ticket sales. So we kind of help establish the platform and the stage so that they can start doing that, and then hopefully they get booked for more and more events.
Right. I love that. I love that you are giving this opportunity to many speakers. And again, I look forward to seeing you. And I will see you, I think, the end of this week. But if not,
Yes.
definitely prosper. And it's prosper next week, Melissa. Is it
I
is it is it
know.
weird? Like this is quite insane. So, but I look forward to giving you a very, very big hug. Thank you for being present with seller sessions today. It's always such a good thing to see you. It's like you fill the rooms with your energy. So thank you for setting up a really nice week to come, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Awesome. Well, I plan on seeing you on Saturday at least. So I'll see you then, Isabella. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Alyssa.